So Jadon Sancho was absolutely standout from the first round of Champions League semi-finals this week. He became the first Englishman ever to complete more than 11 take-ons in a single Champions League game. In terms of most successful take-ons, as you can see here in Champions League knockout stages, he's sandwiched between some very impressive Neymar stats there. Borussia Dortmund were very happy about what they saw from the on-loan player and said, "You all owe him an apology. We were always familiar with his game." Well, Erik ten Hag, I wonder if he's familiar with his game. He was asked about the on-loan player in a press conference on Thursday. Here's what he had to say.
There's obviously been a lot of talk today after last night's Champions League semi-final about Jadon Sancho's performance. I was just wondering what you made of it. And, I mean, he was obviously arrived for a big fee and a lot of expectation. Things haven't gone to plan. Is there a chance he can work his way back into your thoughts, your side?
So let's see this. Yesterday he played very good, and we talked more about it. He's a very good player. And yesterday he showed why Manchester United bought him. He showed also that he represents a high value for Manchester United. So which is good. And so I'm happy for Jadon with his performance from yesterday. And we will see what's going to happen in the future.
Let's welcome in Mark Ogden now to talk more about that. Little smile there from you, Shaka, and a wry smile from you as well, Mark Ogden. What did you make of what we just heard from Erik ten Hag on Jadon Sancho there?
Well, it didn't rule out that Jadon Sancho might go back, but I think the reality is that if United can find someone to take him off their hands in the summer, they'll happily let him go. I mean, I think even prior to this season, when Jadon Sancho had his clash with Erik ten Hag, he hadn't had the greatest of two seasons at United. He's not really lived up to the billing. He's had a great time at Dortmund. We can't underestimate that. And he had a great game against PSG, but he's not done it for Man United. So the good thing for United about this recent run of form is that he's boosting his value. But I mean, we've said it before, there's no money in the European market right now. That the clubs that would generally take on Jadon Sancho haven't got the money to do it. So United have got a problem. He's got 3 years left in his contract. He won't be cheap. He's got big wages. So yes, they'll look to move him on, but he's trying to find somebody to take him, and that is the problem. So ten Hag is leaving the door open because he knows that he might have to take him back next season. It's unlikely because somebody will take him on loan. But still, there's a potential outcome whereby United can't find a buyer, so he's stuck with him. Also, the fact is that Erik ten Hag might not be there next season either, so Jadon Sancho might go back to United under a different manager. But he might not want to go back. He's not at the greatest of time there, so there's a lot of moving plates in this one, but I don't think Jadon Sancho will play for Man United again, despite the fact he's had a good time at Dortmund.
What do you think the Manchester United fans are thinking here then, Mark, if we just look at the fans' perspective of it, that you're seeing Jadon Sancho and these heroics for Borussia Dortmund against PSG, that they didn't really see that for Manchester United?
No, they didn't. I mean, right from the start, he turned up after the Euros in 2021. It took a while to get fit, struggled to hit the ground running, and from that point on, he didn't really make his mark. So I think a lot of United fans have given up on Jadon Sancho. I don't think he's a player that they're yearning to see back. I think, they look at the options they've got right now. There's not many good ones, but I don't think many United fans see Jadon Sancho as a solution. I just think he's found his place at Dortmund. He's found where he's happy. He's found where he's loved, and obviously he feels that the game or the team play to his strengths. But I don't think there's anyone at United that's thinking we need Jadon Sancho back. The only people that might think that are the people that control the club now, the Ineos Group, Jim Ratcliffe's people, who will see the fact that he's an asset in the sense that he's an expensive player that's on big wages with 3 years left in his contract. So from their point of view, they might be thinking, well, we need to get something more out of this player because he's doing it for Dortmund in the Champions League. But it's not as simple as that. And I think if you look at his track record in the Premier League, even prior to him going to Dortmund this year, Gareth Southgate had dumped him out of the England squad. So he's had a prolonged dip in form. He's just found his form back at Dortmund. So I think United will be very careful about judging him on this form now and thinking he'll do it again in the Premier League, because I don't think he will. I don't think many people at United expect him to either.
What do you think the difference has been then here, Stevie, that we're seeing two different versions of this player?
Well, he's playing with a clear head. It's basically what he's doing. He's going on the field and just playing football. He's not thinking about where he's living. He's not thinking about the manager. He's not thinking about the team struggling. All he's doing, and he knows he's in a position where he can concentrate on himself and be at his best. And the fact that there's 11 different occasions in one game where you're taking people on tells you that there's a confidence there. Because when it's not happening, you're looking for a pass. But when you feel as though you're confident, you feel as though you can do things, then you do what he did in this game. So Man United in a real strange position, because common sense would tell you that, yes, the fans might think they did nothing for him, but it'd be a lovely story, wouldn't it? A new manager, Sancho comes back, and then we see the real Sancho. Then they'll be talking about what a great story. You know, the guy sorted himself out. Oh, the problem was Ten Hag. You know, so they've got a real decision. But of course, if he comes back and he's as big a flop again, then he'll be worth even less in the market. So this is absolutely not a straightforward decision. But at the end of the day, if I'm taking the Manchester United job at the start of next season, I want the best players. And if Jadon Sancho's tearing it up in the Champions League and goes on and becomes a Champions League winner because of him, because of what he's doing on the field, why would the new manager at Manchester United not want him back?
Would you agree with that, Shaka?
I would agree in that he has to go. I don't think it's a complex decision at all. I think it's straightforward. He's not a good fit at Manchester United for whatever reason. And I was smiling at the Ten Hag answers because I don't think he could have answered that question any better. And some of the kind of unspoken things that he said, in saying, you see why Manchester United paid so much money for him, as if to say, listen, it wasn't me, it was that other guy Ole before me. I didn't have anything to do with that. And then says, and you see why Manchester United rate him so highly, as if to say, if you're coming for him, we're going to be asking a pretty penny. But the truth is, and if I was sitting in the Manchester United boardroom, I would be calling Sancho's agent to ask, what do we need? Or calling Dortmund to say, what will it take for you to get him? We're trying to, let's have a win-win here. And similarly, if I'm Sancho's agent, I'm asking Manchester United, what does it take? I'm not that worried about my wages, or if I have to take a salary cut to go to Borussia Dortmund. It's not working at Manchester United. It's working at Dortmund. You make what sacrifices you have to get back to that place where you're playing well again. And then maybe in the next few years, you again command the kind of salary that you think you deserved. Easier said than done, I know. But for going back is, in my mind, not at all an option.
You had me, right? Until you threw in salary cut. No, that's not happening.
All right, well, let me tell you, that wasn't the only noteworthy moment today from Erik Ten Hag's press conference. Take a look.
Erik, there's been lots of talk about an overhaul of the squad in the summer, a revolution. You've said there's a good base to work with, but what did you make of reports suggesting that most of the players the club would entertain offers for and they would be up for sale?
It's a joke, but that is like as long as I worked there, every summer, every window, I think 200 players getting an interest from Manchester United. We did some research, which untrue. And also every summer we sell all the players in our squad. And so you making all the headlines, which is untrue. So I think be calm and also but take some responsibility when you make such a headline. Find a good source if there is some truth in it, and this is totally crap.
Mark Ogden, that was a standout moment for you today.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, that was. He knocked that one out of the park, didn't he, by saying that not all my players are for sale. No, listen, I think the reality is that Man United have got a lot of players who aren't good enough. There's a lot of players that have got a year left on the contract. So there's Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. There's 2 or 3 others which, you know, they've got a situation where they have to decide whether to give them new contracts or let them go. And the majority will let go. I think Scott McTominay is another one. But to suggest that all the players, bar 2 or 3, are up for sale, it's not realistic in this market. It's not realistic in any market that you could move on 14, 15 players in one summer. It just doesn't work like that. And obviously, you know, the clubs that have got money this summer, I've been told, the clubs like Man City, the obvious ones, and clubs like Bournemouth, Brentford and Brighton, who've managed their money quite well over the years. Now Man City aren't going to take in any of Man United's cast-offs, not in a million years. But equally, the likes of Brighton and Brentford aren't going to be looking at people like Victor Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, thinking, oh, they might do a job for us. They're on massive wages, there'll be a big fee, but yeah, let's give it a go. So United are stuck with lots of their players. They will move quite a few of them on, but to suggest that, you know, 15, 16, 17 are going, is unlikely. But you could argue that 16, 17, 18 aren't good enough for Man United, but a lot of them they're going to be stuck with because you can't move that many players on at once.
Manchester United can't move on the players that they need. They are flirting with financial fair play regulations. We know they have to balance the books. We heard that all summer last year, just to kind of highlight how difficult it is for Manchester United to move on players. Harry Maguire and West Ham was a long, drawn-out affair that didn't come to pass, thankfully, because Harry Maguire is almost the only good story of the last couple of months about Manchester United. But that just kind of speaks to, even when there is genuine interest from a club that needs this player because of either the salary or whatever the transfer fee may be, it's not easily done. And while I'm totally with Mark, I'm sure Manchester United would love to be able to move 17 or 18 players on and bring 17 or 18 other really good players in. I don't, given the way Manchester United's salary structure, I don't think anybody takes them. I don't think anybody who can afford it is at all interested in any of these players.